Perfect. We are good to go. We're live. What's going on tonight, everybody? Dan,
What is that? What's that?
I'm just enjoying that market right now. Sorry, guys. I know there was a typo in the scheduled start time for this, so I apologize if people were thrown off by the by it saying 10:30. It was not 10:30, and then it was 10:10. Technical error on our end, so we apologize for that. But we got some people hopping on now.
Melvin, what's going on, man?
What's
Thanks
up,
for
Melvin?
joining us. Oh, we got John back.
John, what do you think? What do you think of that market right now? John's got to be loving it.
Mm-hmm.
I know I am.
Yeah, John got in. When did John start? A couple months ago, 2-3 months ago at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got to be sitting on some nice gains right now.
I was gonna say that's been doing well. Him and Dad joined about the same time, and I'd
Mm-hmm.
say that's paying off quite well.
As you say, I know Dad's got some nice gains.
He's just bragging.
That's right. He says ETH. Absolutely, we are going to be talking about ETH tonight. Excuse me, the chosen one. It's here. It's finally come to play. The ETH gods are shining down on us right now.
Yeah, Kyle is ecstatic right now because ETH was, as he's called it, it's the chosen one for him. He has talked non-stop about this fucking crypto probably since, when was it? I don't know, probably June when he first started like really talking about it with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, crypto, that thing was like, that's like 4 years ago. Why are you even doing that? And then, and boy, do I look stupid now.
No, ETH is actually, we're going to talk here in a second too. We got a lot more people jumping on now, so we're going to talk in a second too. Strategy options. Is it? Do you start taking profit? At what point do you start taking a little bit of profit, or do you just let it ride? A lot of people wanting to know. I put out a video last night about Ethereum because it had crossed 3K last night. And I mean, it blew right through 3K. I wasn't sure if that was going to be like a psychological number where you're going to start seeing people like, they're going to keep the price below it a little bit and everything. But man, it blew right through it and kept on going. Now, actually, literally in like the last hour and a half, the market pretty much right after I made the title and description and everything for this, the market had like a 5 or 6% correction pretty much right across the board and everything. But, hey, that's kind of how it goes for it. But something Dad and I were actually talking about earlier, and we're going to pull up the ETH stuff here in a second. But something that we started talking about earlier was, do you start to look at taking profits? It's been on such a tear. I mean, we're up like 30-something% for the week. Okay. People that are in Ethereum, it's been, a lot of people think it's been underperforming. It's pretty much right on pace with where the expectation was that it was going to be. But people thought that it was underperforming. Do you get those people that are starting to pull profits out? That they look at it and they're like, all right, finally, I finally made some really good money on it. Especially most of the time, it's the people that bought in at $2,000 or something like that. And now they're getting a nice gain out of it. They're getting 33% gain. And it's like, do I start pulling it out? So we actually talked earlier about maybe at like a $3,500 ETH, pulling a little bit out, obviously not all of it, pull a little bit out, set it to the side in case there's a correction on it, and then buy back in with more buying power.
Yeah. And Melvin says he made a few mistakes, and when ETH was going down a few months ago, he sold it, and he's really mad now. Well, honestly, that happens to the best of us. And
we've all been there, Melvin.
Sometimes you can hold it on too long. Kyle can tell you with Tron 4 years ago, he held that too long, and he ended up really regretting that one. So
learn my lesson on it. And that's why I can tell you, like, my overall long-term strategy for it. I mean, you guys know, I think ETH is going above 20K. I ultimately think it's going to settle somewhere 20 to 25K. If the market just goes berserk and Bitcoin gets to 400,000 or 500,000, like some people are predicting, I personally don't know that it'll get that high, but if it does, ETH could pump above 25, 30K. I think ultimately 20 to 25K is probably where it's going. My strategy, though, I mean, you always want to, what I've learned over the last few years is you always want to have an exit strategy for each one, and you have to be willing to take profit. I mean, you've got to. And I think it's one of those things where once it hits like 10K, I'm going to start slowly pulling a little bit out, because even with the amount you have in there, as it continues to grow and it heads towards 20K, even if you're pulling a little bit out at, say 10K and then 12K and stuff like that, the gains you're still getting on what you have in there are still going to be exponential. So you're still getting huge gains, and you can take those profits and put them into something else that hasn't pumped yet, or, set it off to the side and wait for a correction, or, really whatever you want to do.
Yeah. And Dimitri says he wants to buy ETH. What would be a good amount, and when will it pull back?
It's hard to say when it's going to pull back. Something that I've been looking at is like I said, my dad and I were talking earlier today. I think there's going to be certain psychological numbers, because the thing is, just like with Bitcoin, when Bitcoin reaches an all-time high and passes it, you're in price discovery. There's no telling exactly where you're going, because we've never been there before. So you don't know exactly how high it's going to go before people finally start to look at it and say, I'm going to pull them out. I would look at it and say, I think we're going to be at 5K before the end of June. I really do think we're going to. I think at some point there will probably be a correction. The question is, when does that happen? If I had to guess, just because it has been pumping so hard lately, I would guess somewhere around 3,500 to 4K, somewhere in there. There's going to be a number where people start taking profit, because they're getting such big gains on it at that point. Even people that bought in at 2K, if it hits 4K, they may, they doubled their money on their investment for it. And then you just wait for it to dip. For me, Dimitri, a lot of it depends on how big your portfolio is. If you're starting with, let's say, $500, I would just split that between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Just go safe on it. Mm-hmm. Let the gains come in, as you've seen with Ethereum. And I'm telling you, I think Bitcoin's getting ready to run. The stock and flow chart is showing, and basically the guy that created the stock and flow is showing that Bitcoin will get to 75K within about 3 weeks from now. So might not be a bad time, not professional advice, but might not be a bad time to look at Bitcoin as well. And if you have more of a budget, if you got 5K, maybe take like 3,000 and put that between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Then you have $2,000 to kind of split between some other projects and everything too. But ultimately, I mean, we're at an all-time high. We always want to caution against buying at an all-time high, but I think that the gains are still there. I mean, we're still going way higher than it is right now. So I still don't think you can lose buying right now. However, if it was me, I would probably wait to see if it does correct back a little bit first.
Yes. Yeah. So Derek here says ETH has natural corrections as it grows. It's healthy to correct every 700, but it's not going to be a huge correction. And that's what we were actually talking about this before we went live. And I know you don't want to come out and like be firm on it, but you're thinking 3,500. Probably you're going to see a small correction.
That would be my guess, just because actually, you know what? Let me pull up my screen real quick here. There we go. Got too many tabs open here. Okay, perfect. All right. So, as I was looking at it earlier, let me pull that out. Actually, you know what? Let's go the last 180 days. So, as I started looking at it, what you start to notice, and at least what I would assume, and this is, again, this is price discovery. What I would assume, just based on human nature and psychological price points and stuff, if you look across at that $2,000 barrier, there was a lot of points of resistance right there, and really even a little bit below that. So, I mean, if you look at it, 1,900, right in there's another 1,900, 1,700. So right around that $1,700 to $1,900 range was a big barrier for ETH to get over, and it took a bunch of time. I mean, you can see all the different times it took before it finally broke through that. So to me, I look at it, the people that got in at that price point, okay, let's say that, you were just first trying to get into ETH and you bought it like right there at 1,900, and then it dipped on you and it went all the way down to 1,400. A lot of people, especially if they're brand new, are thinking, oh shit, I'm going to lose everything on this. And then it finally starts creeping back up, and that euphoria starts happening because you get a nice pump right there. And it may not seem like much right there, but you go from 1,500 to 1,800 almost overnight. And it's like, wow, that's awesome. And then it just can't break through, and then it goes back down. So people that bought in at that price point are probably looking for an exit at this point. At least that's kind of my thoughts on it. What's a good X for them? Well, double your money. So, if the threshold was 17 to 1900, that's why I kind of look at it and say between 35 and 4,000, that's when I think that you're going to start to see, a little bit of resistance and a little bit of pullback, because those people that got in at that price point right there might be saying, you know what, I got my money back. I doubled my money on it. I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to look to go into something else, because, a lot of people start throwing it into, hey, something we're going to talk about on our video tomorrow, projects like SafeMoon and stuff like that, where they see the massive gains that are coming out of it, and they think that, oh, this is too slow a growth. I want to go after, I want to go after those 2,000% pumps in a day type of thing, so just looking at psychological numbers, I would have to believe, and you can see we've got a little bit of a pullback right there at 3,400. So it touched 3,400, and we're on a little bit of a pullback down to 33. Now, not a big deal. But I think you're going to start to see that level somewhere right in there.
Yeah. We have, John said he saw some buzz around SafeMoon new coin. Have you had any thoughts on this project?
So, John, I don't want to give away too much. My video for SafeMoon actually is getting filmed literally right after this. I've already got the thumbnail and everything else created. I just haven't filmed the video yet. So I'll have a video for you on that tomorrow. I don't want to give away too much, because I don't want to say if I like it, if I don't like it, anything like that. I'm going to keep it a cliffhanger. Which by the way, guys, if you haven't seen the video for today that came out, this is the second week in a row that I did a reaction video, and I think that's going to kind of be a thing moving forward. On Mondays, I'm going to do. So normally when we do a video, it's something I've done a lot of research into. I've looked it over, made the thumbnail and the description, title, all that stuff ahead of time. Okay. Cause it's a project I already know a lot about. The last two, we had an idea to kind of do like a reaction style, cause there's a lot of new people in, or even experienced people. There's a lot of new projects that, it's almost impossible to take a look at all of them. So what we did was, instead of going through and knowing anything about the project, we didn't do a thumbnail, we didn't do a description, because we didn't know anything about the project. You guys get first view of when I see the project. I look at it, and we kind of avoid it like the plague, basically, and try not to do any type of spoilers on it. We look at it for the first time during that video, and that's been really well received. That's been really, really fun to do too. It's kind of a neat, unique look into it and everything. So, so definitely check that out. It was Eternity Chain is the one that came out today, and that's a cool project. That's a very, very cool project. But yes, John, to answer your question, we will have that video for you tomorrow.
So Derek says he wouldn't pull out of Ethereum. He said others yes, but it's going to be pumping too long and it's too strong to swap out. Yeah, I mean, Ethereum, it's kind of the steady Eddie. It's not going to be compared to, like you said, Kyle, you get those safe moons and some of those fly by night ones that kind of just shoot up out of nowhere, 2,000%. But there's something to be said about something that's a little safer and that just grows, well, it's still doubled in the last, 3-4 months?
Yeah. I mean, well, I think that's the thing a lot of people lose sight of. Let me just pull my screen back up for you real quick here, because people lose sight of this. And I don't know why. People think that Ethereum is like so slow moving. And actually, this is something I was talking with Derek about the other day. All right. So here's Bitcoin. Okay. This is the one that gets all the love, which it should. It's the granddaddy. It's everything. Okay. Take a look at that. Over the last year, 529% gains. That's phenomenal. I mean, that's amazing. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Triple. But it doesn't get the same amount of love. Now, I can tell you, YouTube analytics say, and guys, this is another reason why I am so bullish on ETH. YouTube analytics say that Ethereum videos, and this isn't just from me, this is from all other crypto YouTubers, Ethereum videos get more hits than Bitcoin does. What does that tell you right there? People are more interested in what's going on with Ethereum. Okay. Bitcoin's huge. It's going to go easily into six figures. I personally think you're going to hit, 250. I really do think we will. However, The interest is with ETH because it does have a use case. I mean, Bitcoin does, yes, it's digital gold. It's a store of value. However, Ethereum ends up being the platform that so many of these other projects are ultimately built on and has a massive use case within the space. And it was the first one in that space in terms of a smart contract platform. So, no, I think long term, in my opinion, I'm more bullish on ETH. I mean, obviously, I'm bullish on Bitcoin. You got to have it. You got to have some of that in your portfolio. I think a large chunk of it needs to be Bitcoin. But numbers don't lie. I mean, you look at it, and I mean that number right there, comparative, they're both great, but you're looking at 3 times the amount comparatively. So the other thing I want to talk about real quick too is Dogecoin, our favorite meme coin. Guys, we made a video about this earlier in the week. If you didn't check it out, we're going to cover it right now, but check it out as well if you want to. But basically, guys, watch out for Dogecoin. I mean, look at that. That's insane. 16,000%. Watch out for Dogecoin later this week is what I'll say. Should you buy into it now? That's totally up to you. It is one of those things where it has a major potential for pumping later in the week. The reason for it is Mark Cuban has been talking about it nonstop for like the last 3 weeks. He went on Ellen. He's on all these other programs and stuff talking about it. The Mavs are accepting it as a form of currency. But Elon Musk is going to be hosting Saturday Night Live on this upcoming Saturday. And he's already promised that he's going there as the Doge Father. So instead of the Godfather, he's the Doge Father. So you can't get a bigger audience than national television on a obviously highly successful show, and you get him in front of a national audience basically talking about Dogecoin. So not saying, hey, it's a great time to buy, because obviously we're at all-time highs or very, very close to all-time highs. I think we've been a little bit higher, but not much. It's up 11% today. Not saying it's a great time to buy, but it'll be really interesting to see what happens, because as we all know, anytime that he, tweets about it or pumps it at all, the price just skyrockets. The other thing is Jordan Belfort. Anybody that doesn't know who he is, the Wolf of Wall Street, he's been talking about Doge a lot as well, basically talking about wanting to pump it very similar to what Wall Street Bets was doing with GameStop and AMC. So a lot of interesting stuff going on. I mean, hey, only in crypto, right? You can get a meme coin that's the number 5 overall market cap in the entire market.
Oh, it's insane. It doesn't make any sense. But,
just be careful. But hey, like I said, it's at this point, I mean, that train is just rolling right along, and you got Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live. Something's going to happen, I would have to think.
So Dimitri bought it at just over 5 cents, 52,000 shares. So Dimitri, you're riding high right now, man. I give you props for not dumping it off already. I would have dumped that sucker weeks ago. But
as you say, I'll give you a ton of credit, because that thing has been pumping, and most people would have taken profit at some point. When should you sell? It's hard to say. Everybody's got their price. For me, I would have sold by now personally. I like to take profit. However, there's some people out there saying it's going to go to $1, which, with all the celebrity backing that it has, it's very possible that it could. I mean, which is crazy, but it's absolutely possible that it could. Kind of like Derek said earlier, with ETH, it's one of those things that it's a long-term play. It's, sit on it and hold it for a while. With Dogecoin, for me, that ends up being one of the things where if you get a big pump, I would, if it was me, if I had a big pump from the Saturday Night Live thing, which I'm thinking is probably going to happen, that's when, exactly as Derek just said, you're probably going to get a big dip after that. So if you're a big Doge believer, you could always sell the height, and then wait until it drops out, and then just buy it back in.
Absolutely.
Empty Room says VeChain and Siacoin. I agree. I love both projects.
So we have actually, real quick, I put this in the banner thing, so let me put this up. So we actually had a question on our email the other day, and I'll show this to Kyle. I don't know if Kyle saw this, but there was a question from someone and wanted to know. Thought this would be a nice little topic. So with the market exploding lately, is it too late to get into crypto?
I hadn't seen that, but no, that's a great question. No, definitely not. Guys, if you look at, and we're going to make some videos coming up about like the crypto cycles, because crypto is very cyclical. Historically, it is very, very accurate. Each bull run plays out very similar to the next one. But the thing is, what you need to know is, if you look at it, let's take a baseball game, for instance. Okay. You got 9 innings. Okay. Right now we're in like the 4th inning, maybe heading into the 5th. I mean, you still have over half of this bull run left to go, because ultimately the bull run is probably going to end sometime around Halloween. Okay. Maybe a little bit further, maybe between Halloween and Thanksgiving, but somewhere in there is going to kind of be the height of it. Now, a lot of people are predicting that Bitcoin probably will be the first, which typically that's what happened. Bitcoin will pump first in terms of like the final pump before it finally dumps off. Bitcoin is going to go first. And a lot of people saying like end of September, early October timeframe, somewhere in there. It's pretty much universally agreed on that that's what's going to happen first. So Bitcoin will go just absolutely berserk. And, and what we've talked about before as well, is it's definitely not unfathomable to think that, okay, we get to August, let's say we're in July, August timeframe, and Bitcoin's at 100K. Okay. A lot of people would look at that and say, that's crazy to think that it's going to go from 100K to 200, 250K within the span of like a month and a half. You would think that. However, the most violent part of the bull cycle, and violent in a good way, as long as you sell at the right time, the most violent part of the cycle is at the very, very end, the last push, because all the people are FOMOing in. People get just crazy trying to make as much money as they possibly can. They FOMO into stuff. What happens? Well, the price of Bitcoin tanks, and that money that people are taking as profits flows into other projects. Next up would probably be Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano, some of these other big projects. They're going to pump way up. And then what happens? They sell out, and then they start looking at all the other altcoins. And again, first altcoins to go are going to be top 100, top 200 projects. And then after that, that's when the speculative stuff starts. That's when you start going into SafeMoon and some of these other projects that, just you're looking for as quick of a hit as you can before the market is fully bearish. It's crazy. If you've never been through one of these, the ending is insane. I mean, like I said, I use that Tron story as kind of an idea how quickly that happens. Guys, literally in the span of one day, my Tron that I bought at 2 cents, and it was literally still at 2 cents. I remember it very well. It was the first week of January, 2018. I bought it at 2 cents. It ran up to like 31, 32 cents in the span of like 10 hours. I mean, it was insane. It was parabolic. I mean, that's 16 times gains right there. Stupid me, I didn't take profit. I thought, oh, this thing's going to $1, because at the time, every YouTuber out there saying, oh, it's going to $1, it's going to $1, just because they wanted to keep pumping it. And then sure enough, it falls off a cliff, So don't be afraid to take profit, but also know that as you get towards the end of the market, towards the end of the bull cycle, I should say, the market's still going to be there. Towards the end of the bull cycle, it gets nuts.
Absolutely. And Derek says even a bear market, you can make good money. Absolutely. I mean,
absolutely.
That's something I think as we get closer to that, and really once we get into a true bear market with crypto, you're going to see a lot of Kyle's videos are going to focus around how his portfolio is changing compared to when he was in the bull market. And there's ways
because you got to change strategies, and guys, there's the short-term aspect of it, and there's the long-term, and Derek's absolutely right in terms of even bear runs can make good money. You can find certain projects that are really good buys, and you can make good money on them. The other thing to remember, though, is especially if you make really good money during this bull market, you can reinvest that into all these different projects again at a much cheaper price at that point, and just spend that time accumulating. You still have your core positions in certain projects that you want to try to make money on right now, short term, but look at it from a long-term standpoint. And maybe you weren't able to get into Ethereum. Maybe you feel like you missed the boat on ETH right now. Well, guess what? When it drops down, historically, when the market drops, most cryptos are going to drop like 90%. Not all of them. I think Bitcoin and I think ETH will probably be safe from this at this point as well. I don't think Bitcoin will drop 90% this time. I think it's going to be like 65 to 70-ish% just because it is getting more mainstream. But there will be a drop. And then same thing with all these other ones. So maybe you missed the boat on Cardano. Last time Cardano got up to like $1.20, it dropped all the way to 2 cents. So, don't feel like you missed the boat. Even if you can't get it during this bull run, wait until it drops down, accumulate what you can right now, make your money now, and then use that to reinvest into these other ones with a long-term mindset that, hey, I'm parking this money basically for 3 years. I don't want to invest what I can't afford to lose, basically, or I can't afford to not have with me right now. But I'm looking at this from a long-term standpoint that, 3-4 years from now, I'm going to thank myself because I just turned, this $5,000 that I put into Cardano into, $1 million or something like that.
Yep.
Darren says fundamentals for investment, memes for speculative trades, memes, NFTs will burn some figures. Excuse me. I would agree. For me, my favorite projects, DeFi. I love DeFi. I think it's got an incredible use case. Smart contract platforms. I mean, those are the projects right now that have been tried and true, and those are the ones. Your Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano. We've got some other ones we're going to be talking about very soon. We talked about Solana a little bit already. The smart contract platforms are the ones that have been proving time and time again that they're the ones that continue to rise to the top because ultimately they have the use case. They are building the Web 3.0 in front of our very eyes. They have the use case for it. Meme ones work if you have a budget and you have a little bit of space in that budget that you can go after them. Hey, they can be fun. They can be fun to chase those big profits. Just don't get yourself burnt.
Yep.
That's what happened to me. I bought at 14 cents and it shot up to 59 cents and it dumped and I still have 21,000 shares. We've all been there. I definitely feel for you on that. I think everybody's got a story like that at some point, especially if it's not something you've been in long enough, to see it happen yet, don't let that be you guys. If this is your first, kind of venture into crypto or really investing in general, always good. It's never a bad idea to take profits. You know what? If you are happy with the gains that you've made and you can look at it and say, you know what, I'm okay with that. Then it's never a bad idea to take a little bit of profit out of it. Doesn't mean you have to liquidate your entire position. You can still leave it in there, but have a strategy. Like I said earlier, for ETH, I'm super bullish on ETH. I love ETH. However, as it approaches 10K and above, I may start taking a little bit out each time. I'm not taking the whole thing. I mean, I'm talking like very, very small fractions of it to hedge your bets a little bit, because what if it doesn't go higher than 10? I mean, we all think that it will, but what if it doesn't? Start to hedge your bets a little bit. And if it does go past that, which I believe it will, your gains that you're getting are still insane comparatively. So you're still making huge money. And then you pull that money, that little bit of money out and you can put it into something else if you want to. Or if you get a dip, you buy back in. 85 to 95% of these alts will be non-existent in 5 years. Don't get emotionally attached. Follow the trends and don't invest in the U.S. dollar.
What about Safe Moon? Safe Moon's going to be here to stay. That's what everyone's trying to say.
Dan's giving away spoilers for my video for tomorrow.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself.
No, he's absolutely right. I mean, guys, invest in the project, the partnerships, and the team. Okay. If there's a use case and it's a good project, that's check number one. If they've got great partnerships, if you're looking at Chainlink, they have a phenomenal project. They've got great partnerships. Okay. And then their team is phenomenal. Theta, again, phenomenal use case. Their freaking advisors are the co-founder of YouTube and the co-founder of Twitch for a live streaming service. I mean, you can't get any better than that right there. So, it's things like that you look at the project and say, yeah, this makes sense. I can put my money safely here and I feel very confident that it's going to grow. I can't guarantee it's going to grow, but I feel very, very confident with that. What do I think about BitTorrent and Win on Tron? I love BitTorrent. I haven't looked into Win in a while. Maybe that's something we'll check out and take a look at it. BitTorrent, we just made a video about, and I'm a big fan of BitTorrent. I really do like that project. I think it literally just came out. I think the video, I should say, I think the video that I did for it, I think just came out Friday. I'm pretty sure is when we dropped that, and that's been a really popular one. I'm not a huge fan of Tron, and that's not just because they cost me a bunch of money during the last bull run. Like I said, you have to understand, if anybody that was around back then, and maybe John, maybe you were during that, Tron was like the big deal. Justin Sun, their CEO, was the super young, hot CEO that everybody wanted a piece of because he was, a protege of Jack Ma, who is the founder of Alibaba. Any Amazon sellers out there like myself, you guys know Alibaba all too well. So, they had this great project, and they were dubbed the Ethereum killer along with Neo. Those were the two that were going to take down ETH, and it wasn't even close. I think overall, I don't think Tron's a bad project. It's actually one that I do plan on covering here very soon. I wish that BitTorrent was on a different, a different platform, but I think overall it's not a big deal, and I do love the project. And Win, maybe we'll cover that in a future video. Convert profit to stablecoin and earn APY with Celsius. Yeah, that, guys, there's so many opportunities out there to earn that passive income on a lot of this stuff. And Darren's absolutely right. Everybody do what's best for your portfolio. But I think between what Darren said right there and what Derek said in terms of don't invest in US dollar, I would agree with personally. Here's something that's really funny. And this actually came from another YouTuber that I was watching a video from the other day, but it's so true. The government so badly, and it's not anything political or anything like that, but the government so badly wants to downplay inflation. And they want to say that the inflation rate right now is only like 2 or 3%. Guys, all you got to do, and I can tell you because we're getting ready to put in an addition on my house, all you got to do is go to your local Lowe's. This lumber has doubled in the last year. And you can't tell me that inflation is only 2% when the price of lumber literally has doubled in the last 2 years, or in the last year, or the price of anything, so we're dealing with it in the furniture business, fuel surcharges and shipping rates and everything. 30%. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. Cost of raw materials is going up. So as inflation continues to rise, obviously our dollars are way less, and our cost of living is getting more and more expensive. So, the way to combat that is cryptocurrency, just food for thought. Sorry, Dan, your investment in Wayne Enterprises will not be panning out.
Shit.
I don't think anybody in here has seen Dan's new background yet. Did you have the Batcave ready last week? How about that, guys? Look at that. Did you have it ready for last week's?
I think so. Yeah, I had it last week. Yep.
Check out that Batcave.
Got my sturdy brick wall, baby, and that's a real one. So
yeah, it's an expensive one.
Whew, yeah, I could take it down the downstairs. Got quoted $20,000 to open up the wall. It's not a lot of people in New York State are. I wish I lived in England because every contractor there deals with brick, but apparently in New York, no one deals with brick. So it's this thing no one wants to touch. But I digress.
Jordan wants to know, what's your most expensive comic? That's a good question.
I have it right here. It is my first. Give me a minute. It's right here. It's my first introduction of Batgirl. And it's worth about $290, $300.
Is that the one that you just covered on your video the other day?
That one right there. And look at that. They're like, oh, Batgirl, get over here. We have a problem. And she's like, I have a bigger one. There's a run in my tights. Different time, people. A different time. But yeah, that sucker's worth about $300. So I bought it for $20. So got a good deal on that one.
Hold on, I'm going to pull this up right now. Well, we're on the topic of it here. There we go. All right, let me share my screen real quick here. Pull that down here. Speaking of Dan's comics right here, anybody that hasn't already, shameless plug here. Guys, go over to YouTube to Batman Theory. That's Dan's channel that he just started over there. We're kind of collabing on that like we do on this one right here. He's got tons of content on there. So if you guys haven't subscribed, anybody that's watching this now or will be watching it in the future, definitely take a look at it because he's got a lot of awesome content on there. So if you love the Dark Knight, that's the channel to go to right there. He gives more in-depth analysis on Batman than anybody else on YouTube. I guarantee you that.
Yes,
so,
Batman is
also you can see I'm on the left over here. This isn't my regular account. This is my Crypto Theory account, but Graham Stephan over there, great channel. If you guys haven't checked him out,
yeah,
a lot of really good finance and stuff like that for it. So let's see why the market goes down. What do you think about Bitcoin? Is it going to 30,000 this month? Jude, is that, do you mean 30,000? Oh, you're saying, is it going to go down to 30,000? If that's the case, no, I truly don't believe that we will see a below $47,000 Bitcoin ever again, ever. It's a conversation Derek and I had I guess it was 2 weeks ago when we had that big pullback and Bitcoin was like hovering right around, high 40s, low 50s. When it pulled back, and he had said that there was a lot of people saying that it might go to 42. And I said, I don't think it'll break 47. There's a lot of support there. And it literally like touched 47 and it bounced right back up. I don't think that it'll ever go below 47 again. It could. I truly don't believe it'll ever go down to 30. So I think that's probably about as safe of a bet as possible for it.
So what was the sudden drop?
I got to be honest with you. I haven't had a chance to look at it because literally right before this, we were doing a Batman Theory live stream. So we actually do Batman trivia on there Monday and Wednesday nights right before this. So I haven't had a chance to actually dive in, but I do know that my phone was going crazy. My CoinStats thing was saying, all these different ones were down and everything. So I don't know, to be honest with you. I just haven't had a chance to look at it. But to me, it's just part of the game with crypto at this point. You get the massive pumps like we've been on the last couple of weeks, and then you're gonna get a sudden drop every once in a while for it. Mm-hmm. I always look at it, especially in a bull run like this, it's a buying opportunity. That's what I predict. Oh, okay, yeah. So I think overall, he's saying then it's gonna go to 79,000. I think 75,000 ish, right around in there. I do believe is going to be in the next 3 weeks or so. That's stock and flow chart shows that the guy that created that's what he's been very steadfast about. So I think that that's a pretty good prediction for it. Bottom Mahomes rookie jersey, card numbered out of 25 for $25, headed to get it graded this week. Worth 3,500 ungraded. We shall see what the grade. Yeah, collectible stuff like that, guys, are just so popular.
We were talking about comic books actually with that, and how baseball cards, basketball cards are. A LeBron James rookie card just sold for like $2 million. Like
Mike Trout's rookie card for baseball last year, I think sold for like $4 or $5 million. Like it was, my brother-in-law Greg, he's in the Navy. They're stationed in DC right now. He makes more money flipping comic books on a yearly basis just on Facebook Marketplace and eBay. He makes more money flipping comic books than he does as a 10-year vet in the Navy. It's crazy. He's got, at any one time, he's got 10 grand in inventory of comic books, and he does really, really well with it though. But yeah, actually, Derek, if you haven't watched it yet, watch the video on Eternity Chain that we put out today. We actually mentioned Mahomes in there because he's partnering with them too. So that's a really cool project. I went and bought some after I made the reaction video yesterday. I started researching it and I was like, yeah, this is actually really legit. So I went and bought some of it yesterday because that's a great project. Darren says profit taking only. That I would have to believe so. That would be my guess. Just, like we said at the beginning, people getting to a certain point with certain cryptos where they've made what they're happy with in terms of gains on it, cash out some of it, wait for it to dip down, and then, buy either more of that or a different project if you want to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, still way up for the week. Absolutely. Need to find my baseball cards in my mom's garage.
No kidding. It's big now. It really is.
You know what we need to find? We need to go and find our old Pokemon cards.
I know where they are. They're in Mom and Dad's one that's in your old closet. I was showing Henry, our nephews them the other day. Some of them are worth some money now.
That's what I'm saying. Let's see. I think it'll not go to the 75,000 as you said until it hits 30,000. It's possible, that's the fun part about it. Sometimes is speculating where it's going to go. Personally, I don't think it'll go below that 47, but who knows? Maybe it will. Maybe we get a big downturn and it does. And sometimes that's the fun part about it is seeing what happens. Obviously, always keep an eye on your portfolio and make sure that you get out at the right time and everything. But I think ultimately, either way, I think we're easily into the six figures with Bitcoin before the year end. Michael Jordan card collector. So let me know when you have. Let me know what you have, Jonathan. That's right. That's awesome. You got anything else there, Dan?
No, I think that covers it.
Awesome. Well, guys, we appreciate you guys hopping on tonight. Watch out for that video tomorrow on SafeMoon. That's what I'm getting ready to film right now. So you'll get our thoughts on SafeMoon, even though Dan gave you a little taste of it there earlier. So you'll get my final thoughts on SafeMoon tomorrow. So that being said, guys, we'll catch you guys in the next live stream on Wednesday.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Have a great night.